Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tea break. I used to walk and run up to the top of the no buses there. Train half an hour to and run back and work till 11 o'clock at night. And that's the sort of way we used to train. Quite interesting, you know. Look back on it now. It used to be. No, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Did you play any other sports? Was that big?
Hi, Daniel. So we need more properties come on, idea. Had he brought you any?
He lives in Belrive, so he lives up from high school.
Oh, that's tremendous, thanks. And you've got to go back to uni with the
Happy
family.
birthday.
Well, you'd never going to do it anything. You know.
Saw Patty L riding
What did you?
up the road.
What did you? She's just gone, yes.
You can take the plaque off, can you, Brian?
Yes, we'll take the flag off today. Here?
Hang on.
Oh, gorgeous.
How did you do that?
I didn't do it actually. You know what the boat's called?
Well, guy.
Spent a lot of time on the steamer. Yeah.
Keep your steam up. Happy 8.
I had it done.
Come on, Ghana, yeah.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Okay, do you want to have candles?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, quick.
You had a cut?
Cut? You want to say something?
Yes.
Oh, whichever you like. Whichever you like.
No, cut the centre.
I'm supposed to say a few words. I've been told I should say a few words. Now, what do you say, or what does one say, on one's 80th birthday?
We want to know.
Thank you very much. Well, it is, first of all, I like to say, well, I don't feel 80. I don't feel old at all. I actually feel like a young man. Now that's something which possibly some people say, oh, 80. Well, you don't feel 80 at all. But what I would like to say to you, just a few things, a few memories which I have. I haven't prepared it, so I'll just say what I'm going to say very briefly, and you won't want to spend too much time listening to me. So I'd like to just cast my mind back to a time which little things do very often have an effect on your life. And that is, I'm going right back to when I was 3 years of age. And my father and mother were very, very good parents to me. And that is very important to any young people, that they have good parents, because good parents are the best friends you'll ever have in your life. Now I'm going back to when I was 3 years of age, and my father used to work on the wharf. He was manager of the Signet Steamship Company, which that boat there was one of his boats, Mongana. And he went away this morning, and I saw him go out the front gate, and I decided that I'd like to go to work with him. So, what did I do? I followed him. But he walked faster than I did, and by the time I'd gone down 2 streets and going up Bath Street in Sandy Bay, if anyone knows that Bath Street and Upper Sandy Bay, it comes up into Battery Point, I lost track of him. So I sat down on the curb and started to cry. And as I was sitting there, I still get emotional over this, a lady, I should say, just gauging now, I reckon she'd be a lady about 50, thinking as a 3-year-old would, came out and said, "What are you crying for, little boy?" I said, "My daddy's gone and left me." And she just left me for a moment or two and came back, and she had an orange in her hand. And she gave me that orange. Now my mind's a blank after that. All I remember that good deed of that lady, which didn't think that 77 years later I'd be talking to you and telling you about a good little deed that she did to me. I thought it was marvellous for her to give me that orange. But I think myself, I can't remember it, but I think myself she helped me on the way home. So that is one little thing that I always remember through my life. And another one that I remember is when I was 18 years of age, when I lost my father. He died when I was 18. And I lost the greatest friend I ever had. Then I go further than that. I'll just mention 3 things briefly. When I was 26, I was 25, I had a very serious illness. I'll just tell you this to show you how things happen that change one's life. I became seriously ill in hospital and had 5 operations while my dad had cysts. And they had actually given me up because I had these cysts forming every time I'd operate. All I could do in those days, as they thought, was to operate and take those cysts away. But they seemed to grow and grow and grow. Unless you can get rid of them all of the germs, they just, in the finish, kill you. Well, they did in those days. And I had these 5 operations. I was very sick. I'd been away from work. In 9 months I had those operations. I'd been away from work all that time. I was walking down Elizabeth Street, just before you get to Liverpool Street. I know the exact spot, remember the exact spot, and a man I hardly knew, just a casual acquaintance, stopped in the street. I was walking along and he stopped, and I stopped when he stopped and looked at me. And he said, what is wrong with you? You look very, very sick. I just told him briefly what had happened. And he said, I know a doctor in Hobart. He hasn't been here very long. And he might be able to help you. I said, well, no one else can help me. They can't do a thing for me. I tried on the mainland and I just get ill, and after an operation, which eventually I was going down and down each operation. And he said, well, if I were you, I'd go and see Dr. Milne. Well, I went to Dr. Milne, and he happened to be a doctor, came out from England. He was put out of the British Medical Association for something he had done which I don't know. He had married a Tasmanian girl much younger than himself, and he'd set up in practice. The chemist wouldn't mix his medicines for him, and he had to mix his own medicines. And he said, I think I can do something for you. He said, I've been in the Shetland Islands and in places where identity is right, and I think I might be able to help you. He gave me some tablets, MB tablets, which he gave me 8 a day. Then he gave me some white medicine and then some black medicine. And some weeks later, one I'd added cysts, which the side wouldn't heal, fell out of my side, and then a dried up added cyst, like a piece of coral fell out of my side too. And from then on, I got better. Now, that was only a small thing, wasn't it? But what a wonderful thing. Well, like he made it possible for me to live and go on living. And I think it was God's interception that made it possible for me to get over those identity cysts. And the third, I'll mention a third thing that is very remarkable, is it changed my life too. When I was getting over these identity cysts, I wanted to go a trip on the Tula, which was owned by Barney Ward. I don't know whether anyone remembers Barney Ward. He was an excellent yachtsman. He'd represented Tasmania and sailed in the Forster Cup and Helmsman on one of the Tassies, which he had won an Australian-wide competition, and I used to sail with him on the Tula. So I went to Barney and said, look, I'm away from work, I've been sick, but would you allow me to come and go around the regattas with you? As you remember, you used to spend 10 days going around the regattas, right round the Ewan, down as far as Dover and Esperance and Signet. I'd like to go with you on this trip. And he said, no, he said, I'm sorry, he said, I won't take you because you've been sick and I can't take the responsibility. And I went home thinking that that's all there was to it. And just little things that change one's life. He rang me and he said, I've been thinking about what you've asked me. I'm agreeable for you to come and sleep on the boat and sail with me on the boat, but I won't allow you to sail in any races. What you'll have to do is to go ashore when the race is on and do whatever you like. So I said I did. I thought, what a wonderful trip this is. So we went right round the regattas and we came to Signet in the Ewan where I came from, Port Signet. And it was that night where I met Paul. I went to the yachty's ball, and who should be there? I saw a lovely lass standing in the hall talking to someone. And when the dance music started, I said, now, I'll go and ask that young lady for a dance. And I went up to her, and she accepted me. And I went home with her, took her home that night, and that's the start of the night. And that's why Bronwyn is here, and Rodney's here.
Dancing
Paul
ever
is
since.
here. And that's why we're all here.
David's here.
And David's here. That's why we're all here this morning, celebrating my 80th birthday. So small things, but things that you can do to help people has made a marvellous difference to my life. And the associations I've had with so many friends here that have come to wish me well. And I do thank each one of you, each and every one of you, my family and my friends here at this meeting this morning which you have every Tuesday, for asking me here this morning and to have such a lovely luncheon. And I wish you God's blessing on your future life. And may we always be friends here and when you depart from this place. We thank you very much indeed. God bless everyone.
You don't like having more leave the class.
Just because that's it,
Yes.
shouldn't everybody see it?
Oh, yes, it's okay. Someone, if you brought your camera, Elizabeth, did you want to take it? Oh, right, okay, did you want
You forgot the hat.
Yes, whatever you like to do.
They can bring out school, didn't you?
Yeah, good.
Oh, hold them. Hold them. Show you again. Sorry, I'll hold them. Sandy.
You get the credit too, Mum. Yeah.
It's you can move. You can move here.
Yeah. I'd like to propose a toast here to my father, and just a few words to compliment that toast. Certainly some of what he shared today I wasn't fully aware of, but I'm sure glad it happened. I'm here. I'm sure glad that the medical associations, I said before, kicked that doctor out, and that he came to Tasmania in the fullness of time for Dad's health and recovery. And so, over the years, Dad's always been there, and it's been a tremendous thing to know that he's always been there if I needed advice and wisdom, you know. In all I can get wisdom, and I always found in Dad that, you know, and Roy and others, that there are always people who have got a gift of just being able to give you the right word at the right time to make the right decision. Life is decisions, isn't it, really? Making, you know, some decisions can be awesome, affect your life and then for better or for worse. But I'd say that the advice that Dad you've given me and others over the years has always been sound, and that's really, really important. And with the books and finance and things like that, that's always been a great assistance and appreciative. So I want to thank you all, particularly for coming today and sharing this little time with us, and I think we'll all go away enriched by the awesomeness of particularly the sovereignty of things. How, you know, things just don't always just happen. There seems to be a plan. And I believe that we've been kept even to this hour, Dad, that we might enjoy this day, because if you weren't here, we wouldn't be here, would we? Sharing this. But you are here, and for as long as the Lord deems you're able to be with us, we give thanks. And so we want to give thanks to the Lord today and to you, and to all the things that have happened over the years, and we're proposing a toast now to the health and blessing of Dad. Let's drink. John.
John, to Dad.
Continued good health, John.
Keep your steam up. Keep your steam up.
See you on the money.
Very good.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm going to get you in a minute, Phil. Okay. That's all right, Paul. Bye, Ron. I'll do some more. These people have been busy working around it. Am I?
Plenty of grey power around here.
A what?
There's plenty of grey power.
A great including yourself, of course. Including yourself.
No, I don't think he was including himself.
What was he? I'll have a look in a minute.
I was enjoying my day up to work.
Think of it this way, you know, the older you get, the wiser you get.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Tibbray's a living example. We've got two 80-year-olds in the room.
And a 90-year-old.
Yes.
I got you now, Cheryl. Yes, she's 91.
Wonderful.
Yes. Hi, Helen.
Wonderful. Take notice, look at her, you're on camera.
Not yet.
Cameron.
Cheese. That look cool, John. knows what to do in some cases.
You gotta catch them in that way.
Yes, that's the best idea. Right.
Very difficult with video cameras to do it when people are not looking. Cameras you can snap around. We had a terrible time in Japan. They're doing it all the time. Oh yes, every couple of steps you take, the click, click, click goes the whole time. You think such a wastefulness of it. In the end, you just
The enterprise is there.
don't think another thing about it.
Hello, Bronwyn.
Surprise.
How are you, dear?
I'm well, thank you, Martha, darling. How are you today?
Yeah. I'll get one for you. I'll get a copy of it.
Hello, Arthur.
Funny video shows.
Well, I'm trying to get in touch with him.
This is
To
going to be on Channel 6 or
any one of
2.
those.
Well, both, if I suppose. You better get a better coverage on both.
Now, the names are
Underneath.
underneath,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And you might have a photo which he's got a photo probably and he doesn't have a name, so he's trying to find out what they are.
Yeah. I'll get a copy of it
How do
for
you
you.
like my orchids?
Yeah.
Are they beautiful?
I just forget what the gatter it was now. It was one.
I've got a blooming souvenir of Port Arthur, a blooming seagull.
Oh,
They were giving their approval, were they?
Well, nah, oh, down at Port Arthur.
Did you leave early?
Yeah, we left there at 3 o'clock.
But his might have been going out on the weekend. You came in from the other direction.
I saw one of these going out from the
Right.
explain a bit about it again, please. If you go round past our house, give Fumiko a honk honk on the horn because she'll be up and sitting at the window. She's sitting at the window.
Right. We'll be back shortly.
Our house is the next street and we've got a Japanese lady staying the night, so if you go round past that way, give her a honk on the horn.
Do you know where it is? Where should we go? Come on, you're all good.
Oh, she doesn't respond to that, does she? Might even get up around the hill. Just want our money back too. It's gone. tomorrow. I'll bring it when I do come with the photo. Yeah, I hope there's something in there after all of that. I think where we go now, how many grandchildren have you got?
In the centre or?
Oh, mother and father together.
Yeah.
Can't part you now.
No.
And yeah, the Bronwyn, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, you're doing well. Hold hands.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when. Change a few, thank you, because I'm a long way away.
taking this still, Rob, with a movie camera.
Oh, I hope he hasn't got the sound on with my squeaky voice.
Yeah, that's all right.
All together there. This is it, say whiskey please.
Whiskey,
please. That's nice now and do a close-up one.
Brandy next.
There's a piano stool too, you can have sitting
Alongside
down.
here.
We've got a piano stool just
Well, I
up
think
there.
we might do that actually.
Rod's piano stool behind you up there, mate.
When you pick it up, it's great.
Yeah, when you pick it up, it's right. Okay, then just come around. Can you bring the stool around?
Yes.
a bit? That's it. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
John and Stella are advancing towards the front door.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Elizabeth will let John and Stella in a minute, won't
Supposed to
she?
be there.
Not yet, no, we're only about delayed by marriage.
You should be out in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We're only related because of marriage.
Rodney, can you just come forward half a step? That's better, so you don't look like you're all in a deep line. All right, all together, this is it.
Cheese.
Cheese. Oh, I've twisted my face.
Do you want me to let these people in?
Yes, please.
Somebody said Shirley's coming now.
I think they said.
Oh, I don't know.
10 minutes.
Smile, everybody.
We're not
David,
here.
doesn't work. I'm not here.
I'm not a big fan of that video camera.
That's it. Now, could you come over here? That's good.
Yeah, plenty of room there, take it back in there.
Okay, can you go? You can go over a bit further. All we're going to get is the.
We're not going to get the...
We're going to get the lights outside.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I think we'll just do it. This is a. Sorry. Okay, this is it. This is a stick it in your family one. Thank you. I've got one more shot left. I'll put you in order and then some big person will come. Mixing you all up.
Where's Daniel?
Darling, any more? They have to wait a minute.
Yeah, you'll have to wait.
They're halfway through something important. Oh, right. Okay, you let Daniel.
Oh, well, as long as nobody gets cold, you're all right.
He gave me a few years head start. That was the reason I was born for a while. Not exactly a Scotland.
We're waiting for some in the kitchen that are in the middle of something important, but they won't be long.
Okay, everybody into the kitchen. We'll take the photo in there.
I keep changing this. It looks like it.
The shutter isn't open.
You're going to open the shutter with that little thing. And just zoom it in from wherever.
Oh, I see, right.
Yeah.
Rob, I have another photo. Quick.
Always camera, yeah.
Trouble is with these little cameras, I shake them.
Yeah.
What a charming, handsome lot, eh? Oh, don't you wish you were part of us? Oh, yeah. We're very happy family.
When did you take up the job?
Rob, quick, come
Oh,
Pull you out after the line down. The next day I thought I would go down and get some more. No, not the next day, it was a couple of days, 2 days after. Because that was Easter Thursday I got there. Good Friday was on. So I rode down there, I only got 2.
Yeah.
Rode into a hard southern breeze.
Oh,
That's the way it goes.
no matter of the
But that'd be about 2 miles down there. The first you talk about
territory of New Zealand. With a slight greeny tinge. Slightly green tinge. Now,
I know you're not.
Elizabeth gave me one of those little passes from the supermarket.
Oh,
$10.
On the back of the purity ticket.
What's that mean?
What did we say, Rob?
Just get a reduction of paying for that time.
How much is
Cheese,
that?
no, not cheese. Whiskey.
Whiskey?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Where is she?
I get a special charge.
Where is she?
I could get for nothing, but I don't
They were then now they say, well, we could have it Thursday.
Yeah, I get it for nothing, but I'm fine. I know to get it for nothing, but I give it
When we make the Nichols, share what I'm on. When you make the
I think it'd be a bit like, we didn't buy into it.
Even if you go to call home, that's the time you've got. You could be turning another couple of off while you're going.
Did you know my mum?
Are you alright? Yep.
This on tape. I told me to do what I was about to say. That's right. Dad's filming all this, and anything I should say here, I have to stick to. Yeah, you want to speak to him about it?
There's Papa David.
It'll speak to him from it.
I hope you're booking this back to the right quarter down here. That's a good idea. Yes. Yes. Oh, I tell you what, I've brought me a lot of games this week to your dad's video. I'm going to talk to you on the phone. And you'll probably see it later on at some time.
A lot.
Yeah. And you're still working hard at that school?
Well, it gives me great pleasure today to just say a few words in reminiscing about their lives. My parents have been precious to us, and I've written a little poem this morning, and it's entitled Love Unending. And I think in the heart of every person there's a desire to know love and be loved, and to have it in an unending manner. Vows are made to keep, not lightly say. You've kept them through and by his grace. 50 years, a long, long time. 50 years, a jubilee of love unending. Now, jubilee signals even more. It signals release from all encumbrances, of return from all that was lost along life's way. May this day live with us all forever, heralding in a new era, bringing in all the blessings that only Jubilee can bring. And I was meditating this morning on the word Jubilee, and in the Jewish way of thinking, which God brought to them, every 50 years, if you're in debt, all of a sudden the debt was removed. Marvellous system. and if your family had lost your farm or your property through whatever means, it was returned, and these sorts of things. And if you're a slave, you'd sold yourself somehow into debt, and eventually you became a slave, you were made a free man or woman. Well, in one sense today, I think we can be thankful that this is a jubilee in many other ways, in a sense that as you grow older, I think you grow wiser. You learn from your mistakes, and you learn to, wherever possible, make things right. And so today I believe that they're standing here not just through their own efforts and strengths, not just through their own vows that they meant 50 years ago before an altar, but they're standing here, I believe, in the knowledge that the Lord above, who brought them together, has kept them. And so I found a few verses from the scriptures too, which I felt depicted something of their life's history. Consider the years of many generations. Just ponder that for a minute. Consider the years of many generations. We're here today, and just like we were talking about this car up here today, and my great-great-grandfather, that's right, isn't it?
Yes.
That's right.
He's sitting in that car up there. You can look at it later if you like. And, you know, he was obviously an engineer, and he got ripped off when he went to England with his invention of the gearbox. His friend, so-called friend, had just beat him there and stole the rights and things like that. But we can learn from generations, and when you look back, you can realise that, you know, there's so many different facets and talents that are locked away in our generation. So consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you. Isn't it great to have a father? You know, it's a great... Some of us, of course, our fathers have gone on, but we learn. We can learn from those, particularly who are put over us. And so ask your father, and he will show you. The Lord's portion is his people, you know. And I believe through the Lord we have come into his family. And he's the welcome guest here as well today. And he's made it possible for us to not only live, but to discover life. And so it says here, he found him in a desert land. And many of us, there have been times, difficult times we've been through as a family, where we've been stretched, and it's been like a desert time. And yet, somehow, the Lord's brought us through it. He found him in a desert land. He encircled him. I like that. The fact that he goes around and he's protecting us, just like the sheepdog, Roy. You know, he goes around the sheep, and he's waiting for the master's whistle or call, and he brings those sheep into the right paddock at the right time. And I think that's what the Lord's done too. And David came a moment ago and said, you know what? It's 16 years since you baptised your parents. I had the privilege today, 16 years ago, in Reservoir of all places, Melbourne, of baptising them as a further obedience to the Lord. They chose to be baptised. And so this is a very unique day, and it's a day in which my dad particularly longed to live for. And I believe that God has honoured his faith, you know. According to your faith, be it unto you. in the natural, you know, I don't believe he should be here. You know, that's my own gut feeling. I mean, there's so many times that Mum would back me up here, that, and even Pastor Ron, you know. There was a time when I was in Melbourne, and Adelaide rather, and you know, the time at that stage he was desperately ill, and I thought, should I go home? What should I do? You know, but Dad's critically ill with this heart attack, and Pastor Ron kindly went and visited, and he felt a word of faith. Is that right, Ron? Or that things would be all right. And I rested on words like that and said, well, thank you, Lord, that I'd love to be there, but I've got a congregation to look after too. And so we stood in faith, and we've seen, you know, not only the doctors do their utmost, but as they said the other day, it's not his heart that's keeping him alive. That's the top specialist. It's not his heart that's keeping him alive. Something else must be keeping this man alive. He's a bit of a mystery man. And so we really are thankful for all of you dear folk that have come today to celebrate this life and this couple that have not only born Brahman and myself and brought us into the world and trained us and given us a great start in life, but we give thanks for all of you that have shared little glimpses of life together. And just like the Robinsons today, when I saw them coming in, my mind just flashed back to all those years ago when they were just across the road, so to speak, and that they're still in our hearts. And we, you know, all of you, you know, you're here because we're in each other's heart and we've got something to share. And it's great that we can gather together today, not at a funeral, but we can gather together at a tremendous celebration. You know, we're coming out of all experiences, and so we want you to really enjoy each other's company, to catch up with all the local gossip and things like that, and reminisce and think, and be thankful above all. So it concludes here, he kept him as the apple of his eye. And I thought to myself, isn't that great, you know, that we can be kept as the apple of his eye. And I often think to myself, Lord, you know, you want me to live for you as though I was the only son he ever had. Just imagine that. And yet there's a sense in which that's the way God looks at us. Each of us are his own children, and he loves us desperately. He wants to bless us with long life, you know. And so he kept him as the apple of his eye, so the Lord alone led him. So the Lord alone led him. And so we give thanks today for this moment in time in which we, in the natural thought, perhaps we'd never see, but somehow it's been brought to us miraculously. And so thank you each and every one for coming this day and just sharing and celebrating with us on these 50 years of love unending. They've had their difficulty times, as we all have, if we're honest, but God's brought them through, and he's enabled them to keep their vow, and this is a precious moment, and long after you've gone, they'll have the photographs out, and they'll look at the video. Remember that, Paul? Yes. But, you know, thank you for coming once again, and now it's time, I believe, to cut this cake in celebration of this marriage. Thank you.
Stand sit in the middle and I do the rest.
All right, just right in the middle.
Isn't it a beautiful
Wherever
cake?
you like.
Yeah, you did it 50 years ago.
Yes, I'm just thinking. There we are.
You can put it in the kitchen and that.
Just a few words.
That he's brought us through. He's been with us all the time. And I believe that there are many more blessings ahead. And to him I give the praise and the glory. And to anyone around who's in this marriage business, just keep going, because the rewards keep coming if you hang in there. And as the scripture says, and what does it say? Love is patient, love is kind, and that's what it's all about, I believe.
Yes, we had our 50th last September.
Did you?
So we're in with you.
You know all about it.
Yes, you know all about it.
Yeah.
Well, I could say, perhaps one or two words. People behind me and people around me, I'll stand at the side here. Well, from the time that I met Pauline, Adelaide ball at Signet when I went back to my own hometown where I was born, and Pauline was born there too, some years later. And I walked her home and said I was coming back. So I came back, and from then on we were married 2 years later. And from the time when we were married, and we had 2 children very early, and we had our battles, we stuck together through thick and thin, and all the things that we had. And not to have, as time went on, was due a lot to Pauline's effort, and perhaps mine to a lesser extent, my hard work, and in business, until we've reached this day. We've had a marvellous life together. We've had our difficult times, our low times and our high times. But we've had 2 children that have been wonderful to us, and have really been marvellous in the way that they have stayed with us and come back to us and visited us and helped us. As you can see today, all this is mainly done by the families of our 2 children, the 2 children and their husband and their wife and the family. So you can see that we've had a wonderful life together. And as I said to Pauline on the card I gave her this morning, that as we've been blessed in the past, we will go on forever being blessed. And I really believe that. And we've had a marvellous lot of friends through our life, and you thank most friends the friends that we've got. Those that are able to come in tonight, today, and this afternoon. We thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate it very much that we're able to be here with you through the times we've had, to be here and see you all here sharing with us the day that is such an important day in our lives. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows. And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us. For they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows. And so say all of us. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
Thank you very much. There's nothing like sitting and being waited, you know?
I make the most of it. Yes, I recognise those.
It's like step tie.
You're going, are you, Rick?
My glasses go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you sit still?
It's movie, it's not stills.
You want to go walk down, Robin?
I'm supposed to be getting some of you. I wanted. We do have to get the producer of the show and
I want you to have a gig tonight when you open that door.
wave everyone. Battery flashing. Robert was here. Just to let us know that he was here.
I'll hear you right over to myself.
Dulcie, hello Dulcie. Hello. Okay. Not even a sunset tonight.
Well, I had to bring this.
Roy might remember some of the words. Someone else might be able to remember them. Share them round.
To the end of the perfect day, and you sit alone with your thoughts, while the chimes ring out with a carol gay, all the joy that the day has brought. You dream of the